There's long been speculation about the next James Bond movie being directed by a woman. And you know what? We completely want it to happen. For quite some time now, the franchise needed a change, and getting a female presence behind the camera sounds like a good plan. Now, the director of Spectre and Skyfall, Sam Mendes, has put his support beside the idea. So in today's video, we're going to talk about exactly that. First off, a woman should direct the next James Bond film. Even in the 2020s, the character of 007 has managed to stay relevant. The only reason for that is that they've managed to adapt to the times. But here's the thing, every single Bond movie has been directed by a man, and honestly it's about time that changes, because come on, we need a different perspective at this point. Mendes, who's currently promoting his next hit film, Empire of Light, told Deadline that he believes that the best thing to do at this point would be to continue the transformation that's already been hinted at by the executive producer Barbara Broccoli. He praised Daniel Craig and claimed that he doesn't envy Barbara for having to follow the fantastic actor's 5 movies. He said that Daniel reinvigorated the franchise, but at the same time, it's so huge that it's going to be pretty difficult for a younger actor to step into that. He then expressed that the actor playing Bond has to evolve and the director has to evolve as well. He believes that it would happen to be really wonderful to see a woman directing these movies. Spot on, Sam. Make it happen. Again, the Craig movies were really a breath of fresh air. His version was completely different from anything else we've seen before. He was brooding, dark, and ruthless. Unlike the previous iterations, he didn't have a lighter side to him, which was sometimes missed. And if anyone attempts to do the same thing again, they're just setting up for failure. The best move here would be to, as Sam said, evolve. Next up, there's not been enough talk about this. While people have been debating about the race and gender of any future Bond actor for quite some time now, very little attention has been paid to the same question behind the scenes. This is really unfortunate because it's just as important as the lead, perhaps even more so. The most recent installment, No Time to Die, was directed by Cary Joji Fukunaga, and the script was written by Bond regulars Neil Purvis and Robert Wade. What you may not know is that it was punched up by the one and only Phoebe Waller-Bridge. The Fleabag star was only the second woman credited as a co-writer on the series. Guess what? The only time this happened before was when Johanna Harwood was credited for her work on the very first Bond film, Dr. No. And if you ask us, that's simply unacceptable, especially when you consider the fact that women have always been a very important part of these movies. Plus, come on, we all know a female will be much better at writing and directing a charismatic and attractive man. Coming up, Craig believes the role should continue to be played by a man. Mendes Bond films were 2 of the most popular and critically acclaimed in the franchise, and for good reason. They were exhilarating action flicks that knew exactly what they were doing. After he left, Craig originally quit the series as well, but was convinced to come back for a final installment. When he finally left, he shared that he believes the role should be played by a man in the future as well. The Knives Out actor said that there should simply be better parts for women and actors of color. He explained that there should be parts just as good as James Bond, but for women, and we see where he comes from. Yes, Hollywood's been male-centric for too long, but the solution is not to try and make amends by giving women a role that was written for a man, but instead simply let female creators thrive and they'll actually write stuff that means something to them. As a result, we'll automatically end with cooler and more well-rounded roles for women. Barbara Broccoli echoed this sentiment and said that she believes in making characters for women, not just having women play men's roles. She claimed there aren't enough great roles, and it's very important to her that they make movies for women about women. She also expressed that Bond should be British, which means that he can be of any ethnicity or race. Now for who could be the next Bond? There's still no concrete news on who will be directing the next installment, nor on who will be the titular role. Some outlets have reported that we'll probably find out about both these things in the next few months, but again, that's all hearsay. The actors who have been rumored to be playing the role include Tom Hardy, Jamie Dornan, Henry Cavill, Reggie Jean Page, Idris Elba, and many others. But speaking in June, Broccoli revealed that there's still quite some time until they start casting. She revealed that no one's in the running right now, they're just working out where to go with the character. There's no script so far, and they can't come up with the one until until they decide how to approach the next film. She claimed the next movie is going to be a reinvention of Bond, and they're really reinventing who he is. Obviously, that takes time, and she's announced that filming is still at least 2 years away. Hey, we're in no rush. If the movie takes a few years to come out, that's fine. What matters is that it's done properly, because we're heading into a new era of James Bond, and the first installment is of the utmost importance. It should be written well, and it needs to be executed to perfection. And while we're giving suggestions, why not just hire Waller-Bridge to write and direct the next movie? She's got the experience, she's highly imaginative and very creative, and we're sure she'll do a better job than just about anyone. Moving on, how exactly should they reinvent James Bond? How do you reinvent an iconic character without losing the essence of what made him so intriguing and entertaining in the first place? Now, that's kind of a tricky question, isn't it? Well, the simple answer is to make a movie so good that people just can't complain. Yes, we know that goes without saying, but the thing is, the brooding version that Craig played is kind of overdone now. We need to go back to the roots of the character. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of campiness here and there, and we believe that the creators should embrace that. Excuse us for saying this, but we don't think there'd be anything wrong with Sweet James being a little goofier for a change. Plus, if they do decide to bring in a female director, that's almost certainly going to be refreshing. We don't know about you, but we're pretty much tired of men telling stories about men, and bringing a colored actor such as Elmer Page won't be such a bad idea as well. After all, no one said that he has to be white. They're just as British as anyone else, and they're more than qualified to play the role. Bond is supposed to be good-looking, popular with the ladies, and disarming, and these two actors are all of those things. So yeah, there's really no reason they should be looking at white actors only. And come on, Elba oozes cool. There's a reason people have been asking for him forever. He really deserves it. Finally, is there any end in sight for the franchise? Honestly, no. They're going to keep making these movies forever and ever, and we're not complaining. There's always going to be a place in Hollywood for Bond movies. They've been doing well since the 1960s, and he's just one of those characters who will always be around. Recently, it was announced that the team behind 007 has signed a deal with Warner Bros. To keep making the films until 2037 at least. Sources said that Bond is sure to be in good health at 75, and there's going to be no hanging up the tux and martini. While some think that the future of the franchise depends on the quality of the movies over the next decade, we don't agree with that at all. The films could be absolutely terrible, and there would still be an audience for them. Collectively, the films have grossed over £5.3 billion worldwide. In 2012, Skyfall alone brought in $1 billion, so yeah, this train's pretty much never stopping. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think the next 007 film should be directed by a woman? If yes, who's your pick? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye for now, and we'll see you in the next one.